In this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about the project you're going to be working on using Squarespace as the platform. I've listed the Project 1 requirements, and a couple things that I want to mention this week are most of the technical requirements for the website. So you have been given all the content and the images, and you cannot use any of the images unless you have emailed me and received permission to change those. As you can expect, some of the images and the quality of the images were not the best, and that's what happens when clients give you information. In a real world scenario, you would ask them for other images or ask them if you could take pictures if they were bad. In this example, you're just able to find any picture you want to use. Your website must include all the topics, and it needs to be organized in a logical format. You are more than welcome to improve the content or create more content if you feel that that helps your design for the website. Your website needs to include all your topics, and they need to be organized in a logical format, and they also should follow the sitemap that you've already submitted. One thing that you really need to work on that I'm going to be grading fairly hard on for this project is that your website follows good design with layout, spacing, and fonts. So anybody can go into Squarespace and throw in the content and images and make a website. But does that website look professional? That's what I'm going to be asking when I grade these assignments. So I want to make sure that if you have a gallery of images, all of those images are the same size. If you have a grid of images, I don't want to see one image that's a different size than the others, and I also want to see even spacing between all your items. So really make sure you focus on that with this project. You also need to modify your fonts. So your fonts should go with the style of your site. And the first thing that you'll do when you go into Squarespace and you say you want to get started, it's going to ask you to create an account, and that account will be linked to your FVCC email address. You have 2 weeks for a free trial, and that's how long this project is. So you do not need to pay for Squarespace. Please do not. You just want to make sure you do your free trial. And once you get started, the first thing you need to do is find a template. And there are lots of templates to choose from. And I have a section on that as well. But whatever template you choose, you want to stick with it, because once you start designing in that template, sometimes things or items get just sort of your layout and your spacing can get messed up when you switch between templates. So decide what look and feel you want and go with that template for the project. And then you need to make sure that you have a logo, the title of the business, your image gallery. Again, your images need to be cropped, optimized, and presented in an appealing format. Your contact information needs to be there, a copyright. You need to have a blog with a minimum of 3 posts. You need to have 3 events on a calendar, and you can make those events up. I don't think I gave those to you, so you just make up 3 events. You do need to have a map on the contact page, and you can create a fake address. So it doesn't need to be real, because again, this is not a real business. And you need to have a fave icon, and by default, the website will be responsive, but you do need to make sure that you look at all of the different views, mobile, tablet, and desktop, and make sure your website looks good in all 3 of the formats. So those are the technical requirements that I'm going to be looking for when I'm grading your assignment in a couple weeks. You do have a whole section here that I've posted on course management website and how you need to display this website once you are finished. You're actually going to link to your finished website, and I will be grading these the day that you submit them, because your free trial will be over fairly soon after you submit it. So what you're gonna do is you'll create a new HTML page, and I'll show you what it'll look like. So here is an example. Here is the projects page, and you can see it says Project 1 Forever Friends Rescue with a little description about it. If I click on that project, it takes me to an entire page dedicated to that project. And on that page, there's a little description with the template that you use. Also a link to the Forever Friends Rescue Squarespace website, which again, will not be up forever because you only have 2 weeks. And then here you're going to put some images of your website that you have. And again, this is a good example of spacing. You can tell that in this design, all of these dogs and images are the right size. and the font sizes of the names are the same, and same with the descriptions. So that is what your website is going to look like. When we go back to the content, a couple different things. What you're working on is you did create a sitemap, and this week you are going to watch the tutorial videos I gave you, and you're also going to choose a template and begin working on your website. So that is what you're going to be doing now this week, and then next week you're also going to be working on your website. So you have 2 weeks to work on your Squarespace website, and when you go to the content for this week, you're going to notice that I have links to getting started with Squarespace, choosing a template, making style changes, pages and content basics, what are blocks, and Squarespace all about images. So these are all of the different pieces that I'd like you to look at before you actually start working in Squarespace. Now, each of these links are going to link out to the Squarespace video sequence and tutorials. There are more tutorials here than I linked to, but you can notice this is a video series called Getting Started with Squarespace, and when you scroll down, there are little videos. So this one's only 52 seconds, 2 minutes and 25 seconds. This talks all about pages, galleries, page sections, the not link section, style and design options, how to change your fonts, changing colors, building a site header. So this is just sort of all the basic videos about getting started with Squarespace. So you're going to watch that. You'll also notice that I have this choosing a template. And this link here will let you browse the designs, and it will compare your layouts and colors, and it gives you some recommended templates for different types of organizations. And again, if you want to join a webinar, you're more than welcome to join a webinar as well to learn more about the features. But over on the left-hand side, these are all the templates that you have to choose from. So maybe you look here and it says business or organization, and it says pursuit is a good one. Over here, I can click on pursuit. And then it'll show me a demo of a website made with Pursuit. So here is information about it, and it tells me the different awards that they've won, and it will tell you about the languages and who made it. Over here on the left-hand side, let's say I was wanting to learn more about Pacific. I can read about the Pacific template family, supported pages. It'll show me about banners. So you can do some research on those templates and figure out which one's right for you. You also can just go into Squarespace and change your template multiple times and sort of figure out what look and feel you like. Then there's a link to this making style changes. And again, this is a large section. You can see that I just linked to this making style changes, but then there are all these other topics over here that you can look at, like style changes, frequently asked questions, changing colors, site-wide animation, styling buttons. But our making style changes is really, it's similar to an external cascading style sheet. So your styles in Squarespace are the global settings for your site. So you're going to read about that. I also have a section about pages and content basics. So how do you actually make your pages once you get into Squarespace? And then there's a section here about Squarespace blocks. Blocks are sort of the key for content in Squarespace because you can add different types of content areas such as layout pages, blog posts, maps, calendars, videos, etc. And then the last link I have for you is all about images, and that's a whole video series. When you go there, it's sort of like the intro to Squarespace, but this has all about images. It has an introduction, formatting images, image blocks, using gallery blocks, and using the gallery page. So really, I think what it's going to come to is after you look through all of this information and you watch some videos, you're going to actually want to go in and start your free trial. And once you start your free trial, you then can start playing around. It's pretty intuitive. You can click new page, you can insert blocks, you can add videos, you can add blogs, and it's really more of a what you see is what you get, click and drag type of platform. And you might wonder why we're doing this, because it might seem a little easier to you than coding in HTML and CSS. But depending on what client you have, you might have a client who's okay paying the $20 a month to have their website hosted and created in Squarespace. And if that's the case, then you can create one for them, and you can also charge them to update their website when they need it to be updated. So that is a little introduction to the week. And a couple of things with due dates. You do not have this project due for 2 more weeks. And in the middle of next week, you will have a rough draft due, and I will post information for that next week. So this week, really, it's just all about getting into Squarespace, starting your free trial, watching all the videos and reading about how to use it, and actually getting in and trying to put your sitemap, take your sitemap and turn it into a website. If you have any questions, as always, you can email me, and I look forward to seeing all of your final websites.